say stereotype is taking somebody's appearance or the way they act and immediately assuming something about them.
I find stereotype as a preconceived notion based on absolutely no reality.
Gotcha.
So something you have no foundation for, but that you feel is true of a certain group of people.
Stereotype would be, I guess, when somebody thinks of you a certain way because of things that you're associated with.
Stereotype is a preconceived judgment applied to people that you know nothing about.
Stereotype is like a judgment that you apply to someone based on some group that they're in, like race.
I see stereotype as a kind of judgment based off like a group of people, based on like a myth or something that's been like highly like talked about by like the general mass.
Basically being judged for who people think you are, because most people don't know who they are and they assume when they see somebody they're like, oh well, you know, they're probably this way, that way. So that's what I think a stereotype is.
I think the definition of stereotype is jumping to a conclusion about somebody's ethnicity, sex, like anything about them, just like something that pop culture has made comment about them, which is like not true, but you know, yeah.
A stereotype is basically where you make an assumption about someone because of basically their gender or their race or just who they are as a person.
I guess it's like to put somebody in a box because of the way that they seem on the outside, or just a very small, you see a little very small snippet of themselves and you put them in said box because of that.
Stereotypes are what are used against people like race, gender, religion, what they do, what they like.
I think a stereotype is oh my God, I can't think of the word. The preconceived notion of what someone is.
When I think about stereotypes, I think bad things. All the time people say that stereotypes are not all bad, but that's not true. When you hear stereotype, can they be good? Not always. Because you hear things like Arabic people are terrorists. You hear black people are dirty. Or Mexican people are rude. And a lot of different other ones. For me, a stereotype means always thinking of people in a certain way.
Well, I'm a theater kid, so I get a lot of like, you're loud and weird and strange.
Preach it.
And yeah, so it's like, I think that is probably the biggest one. I think I fit a lot of stereotypes. It's just sort of offensive that they thrust upon me.
I feel ya. I grew up in like a really rural farm town, and it was considered a really bad thing to be girly, and can't really tell. I like wearing dresses and doing my hair and everything like that, and that was considered really bad. And people thought that if you wore anything but like farm clothes, you were weak. You couldn't do anything. So that would probably be a time I felt judged.
I used to be a blonde. People would think I like wasn't as smart because I was blonde. People take me more seriously now that my hair is darker.
People in my high school used to make fun of me for being Mexican because I look Hispanic, but I'm not actually Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican. And so they would like judge me with Mexican stereotypes, even though I'm not even that race. I don't know if that was a good answer. That's like kicking ass and stuff. They were like, no.
I know that in high school, when I would like walk into a convenience store, like they would watch me a little closer because high school students steal.
Oh, ooh.
So yeah, they kind of like were suspicious of me just right off the bat.
Wow, that's messed up.
Well, I'm a twin, so people like judge us all the time. They expect us to like share like everything. So
Yeah. I try to find well, I used to be in archery in high school. So when we used to go out to our events, they used to think that we're just inner city kids, and they always said that we're ghetto and we're loud, but they really never knew who we are. So they were always like pleased by the way we were acting and stuff like that. So we got stereotyped a lot.
It was after I'd come out, people assumed that I was going to be like all flamboyant and hey, but no, like I was like straight laced and everything, but people still like they treated me different. You know, my guy friends started to like back away, and I'm like, dude, I'm still the same guy. Like I can still joke around. You know what I mean? Right. Like just because of that, like I'm not gonna be attracted to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha. When I was in high school, because like I don't play like sports, or I just kind of act differently than most, like I guess quote unquote African Americans, a lot of people kind of just judge me for that because I didn't fit like the mold that they put a lot of people in.
I guess I was part of like the popular group in high school, although I never really felt like I was such. And then I made the decision to come to art school and study what I study, and I felt judged for that. I felt like everybody was like, psh, like wannabe, like who does she think she is, like how trendy to go to art school.
Yeah, I feel judged because I'm Jewish and most people think, hey, you're cheap and you like buying really cheap stuff. I'm also Russian and people think I drink vodka for breakfast, which I don't, because why would anybody really want to do that? So I'm judged for those two things.
Okay. I'm not allowed to donate blood because I am a homosexual man, and it is against United States law to donate blood if you're gay. A gay man, at least. So that's a consistent burden.
As you can see, I'm wearing a headscarf. And it's because it's my choice, my religion. I always feel that people are judging me. It's hard not to see that. I mean, my headscarf, people always notice it, and it's hard not to. But people always say, why don't you want to show your body? Well, it's not your life, it's mine. America calls themselves land of the free, and that you can make your own decisions. It's not true. I wear my headscarf, and there are people making laws and want different rules so that I can't wear it, and it's not fair. That's when I feel judged the most.
Oh, all the time. I mean, like, I know I do it. It's like, I have a friend with short hair, and I know she's not a lesbian, but that's like a short lesbian stereotype. So every time I see a girl with short hair, I'm like, she's probably a lesbian.
Ooh. I have a roommate who has like a lot of tattoos and piercings and like crazy hair, and when we first met, like she doesn't have a Facebook, she hadn't really been in touch with any of us beforehand. So when we first met, I looked at her and I was just like, and like I don't have tattoos, I just have ear piercings, like, and I looked at her, I was like, oh my god, she's such a hippie. Like, I don't know why I thought that was a bad thing, but we get along really well now. She's like the sweetest girl ever. We're friends, and I don't know. It's just like that was my first thought. I was like, oh my god, I'm living with a hippie.
Just sort of on a day-to-day basis, like walking around in Chicago, just if you glance at somebody, you see like, somebody in like all rugged clothes, like on the street asking for money, of course you're gonna be like, oh, that person's homeless.
Do you know those the mini skateboards? Mm-hmm. Like not the longboard or skateboard, but those really small ones? They're really fucking lame. Am I allowed to curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They're really lame, and like so every time I see someone in Colombia riding those, I'm like, wow, you're really lame because of that mini skateboard.
Happens.
Anyone who says swag, I just kind of assume that I won't like them as a person.
Okay.
So
I use swag.
I like you though.
Oh, okay. But I don't know you, so I'm like.
Oh right, I forgot. Sorry, you don't know.
think when I was, it was like elementary school or something, there was this kid, he was Muslim, and I thought that like Muslims, like based on like the media and all that stuff, I thought they were like terrorists and things like that. So yeah, I judged them like pretty hard on that.
Usually when I'm on the bus or something, I kind of stereotype people. Like when they come on the bus and it's like, oh well, maybe I don't want to sit by them today, or maybe I should just stand up.
I judge people that look sketchy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I see
we live in
somebody that
Chicago
looks-
and know all about that.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody looks like, you know, like a rapist or like they're gonna mug me, I'm obviously probably gonna like be like, oh, let's like go over here. I'm not like putting any like ethnicity or anything or gender, but it's just like if they just look sketchy, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do this out the street.
Yeah, there was a time I was at my local YMCA, and I was playing some pickup basketball, and a white dude wanted to play, and he was amazing, and I felt bad because I thought he was gonna be bad. He ended up being better than me, so it's time that I judge, but I won't do it again.
So it's not really bad, but a lot. I mean, we're all judgmental people. We try and hide it, but we're all judgmental.
All the time. All the time. I guess on the train I do it a lot. On the CTA, I'll see somebody like kind of dressed like a thug, and I'm like, they're a thug. And then they'll do something really kind, like get up, or like when an older person will get on and nobody else will stand up, they'll stand up and move for them, or a woman with a baby or a pregnant woman, and I'm like, shit.
I feel like the most I would judge someone is typically on the street from just passing by. There's always an initial idea you have of who they are in their head. If you see someone, like, I don't know, I'll see someone walking by, I don't know, I can't think of one. When I judge someone, it's typically like, I don't know them, and it's just an initial reaction as I'm walking by them.
This is gonna sound cliche, but it's hard for me to judge a person, to really judge. When I meet a new person, I always want to know what they want to tell me. That's what I'll judge them on, and that's it. I know how it feels to be judged, so why would I want to do that to someone else? It's not right.
I think if you're using it to, like, offend somebody, it's wrong, but I know, like, a lot of people do, like, they make fun of them. I mean, I know I make fun of theater kid stereotypes all the time. Like, I mean, yeah, I turn everything into a musical number. I mean, that's my life. I think it really just depends on how offensive they are. Because I know, like, racial stereotyping is, I think that's just, I mean, yeah, it's mean, it's offensive, no one likes it, but like stereotyping for being a theater kid is fine. It's just...
I'm actually a comedy writer, and
yes,
I've heard, I don't know, I work with a lot of people who rely really heavily on stereotypes. I usually try not to, but sometimes you do need like the dumb blonde, you know, but I feel like racial stereotypes are different. I feel like those aren't as funny. But, you know, sometimes if you have, like, the douchebag at a party, that could be kind of funny, like, even just as a straight man to play off of, you know? I feel like those can be kind of funny, but they can get played out pretty quickly.
I will, definitely. You know, I think it tends to be thought of as bad. I don't think it's always, like, the worst thing, you know, because you can definitely, like, in that occasion, like, see somebody that's homeless and you don't want to, like, talk to them because they just want to keep their money and just do it.
I would say, I don't know, probably never. Like, it's whatever.
It's there.
It's just there. So like never. It is life.
I feel like making jokes about stereotypes is okay, but when you actually believe that a certain group of people all fit one particular stereotype, then that's wrong because there's always going to be an exception. So joking about it, I think, is okay, but when you actually apply it to real life, then it's kind of rude.
I think when it has to do with race, that's like a line that shouldn't be crossed. Except when it's like maybe on like personalities, things like that. Like that's like okay, because sometimes it can be seen as like funny. But other than that, yeah, I think like race like definitely draws the line there.
I guess when you actually start like assuming a lot of stuff about them, like when you're actually like, oh, they're probably like bad or something like that, or they're probably like a game maker, I don't want to be part of them. I guess that's where you can start drawing the line, I guess.
It is not okay for stereotypes with racial profiling, for one. Racial profiling, like, you know, this law, I think it's in Arizona, right? That they can, like, stop anybody that they see, like, if they, you know, it's a Spanish person, it's like, oh, automatically, you know, like, no, that's wrong, you can't do that. And, like, things at the airport, like, you know, like, obviously, like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it might be the guy with the turban or something, or with a beard, that he might get stopped, or somebody looks like a stoner, and it's like, just because they look like that doesn't mean that they are. I mean, I think I draw the line in stereotypes as if, like, you know, if you're making a simple joke, like, not too far. Don't, like, make it a joke that everybody's gonna be like, you know. But I mean, like, in film, like, you know, they always use stereotypes. People get a laugh out of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, that's where it's okay. But if it's, like, actually affecting the person in a serious negative way, that, you know, the second it does that, I draw the line there.
I personally think that I draw the line when you have an assumption and you automatically just think it's true, and so you use that in your daily life. I think comedy, I think it's okay to joke around because we joke around with everyone. Obviously, jokes can be offensive sometimes, but I think it's fun just to poke fun at yourself and like your culture.
Yeah,
But
I agree with it.
I just think that it's really crosses the line when you just assume it's true. And like at the airport, if you pull someone out for being Middle Eastern, that's just really racist, and you're just assuming that they're gonna do something wrong. Well, they're not. They're just going to Disney World with their family.
I do think it's a bad thing. I think it is something that can protect you sometimes because, I mean, truthfully, stereotypes, I do think they come from somewhere. They do come from somewhere. They're not completely made up, and they're not all false. Sometimes they can be true. So I think people do it a lot of times to protect themselves. And sometimes that can work in your favor. But as long as you're open to the fact that that stereotype you've made isn't the end all be all.
I think it's kind of stupid when people are randomly selecting money. They're just going on a flight. I mean, if they're really looking like really dangerous, then it's good. But if they're just like standing there and you take them out of line, it's kind of really stupid.
I'm really bad about drawing the line because I have a lot of beliefs. I think everyone's racist to a certain extent. I grew up in an area and with a group of people where everyone was game for joking because we're so mixed in terms of gay, straight, Afghani, black, Asian. Everyone is so different that, like, as long as it's not like serious, that's like, I guess will be the line. But we joke a lot. We all do it because we like each other. So
Yeah.
Where do I draw the line? It's an interesting question. I think safety is definitely important. Safety is different. Safety is different from stereotype. I know yesterday my aunt was flying back to Germany. It was amazing to see her here and experience America, but when I needed to get out of the car in the airport, I was walking there with her. Immediately, people were staring at me. Why? I'm in an airport and I'm wearing my headscarf. I can't even disrespect the teacher. Why do they think I would do something so harmful in an airport? I mean, to people, innocent people. I think stereotype. I think our class, we need to make it better for the next generation to tell them to stop this idea of stereotype. I think we need to just stop all these bad thoughts that people have about others, and it just needs to stop. We're not our parents and how they think, how they used to think. We're our own person, and I think we can change the way society thinks. I think we could do it soon.
Define stereotype.
An image or idea of a particular person.
Okay. Can you tell us about a time you felt judged?
Yeah, every day Robbie and Kelsey judge me.
Why?
Because I'm awesome and they're not, so they judge me.
Can you tell us about a time you caught yourself judging someone?
Pretty much every day, unfortunately. Sorry.
Where do you draw the line on using stereotypes?
I don't really care.
Yes, Caroline, thank you.